The Hollywood firmament seemed to collapse into profound silence on October 11, 2025, when Diane Keaton, the legendary actress who had defined an entire era of romantic cinema, died at the age of 79 from pneumonia in her small California home. A week later, amid this pervasive wave of grief, the world watched as Keanu Reeves, the stoic star, the man who had always moved through life, quiet like a low musical note, finally broke his 2 decades of profound silence. At a New York film premiere, his eyes, usually reserved, glimmered with an unhidden and aching sadness as he delivered what amounted to a devastating, belated confession. He admitted that the persistent rumors, the whispers that had circulated since 2003, were true. He and Diane Keaton had loved each other, deeply, sincerely and painfully. The crowd fell silent, as if the entire world had just heard a secret of profound emotional weight, confirming that the love story between the hero of The Matrix and the Queen of Annie Hall was, tragically, no Hollywood fantasy. Keanu whispered before the crowd, his voice trembling with years of suppressed regret, "Diane, I'm sorry I left you alone, and I will carry this pain forever." The Impossible Couple and the Wall of Fear. Their connection first sparked on the radiant Los Angeles set of Nancy Meyers' romantic comedy, Something's Got to Give. In the autumn of 2002, Diane Keaton, then 56, met Keanu Reeves, a 38-year-old actor whose soul was already scarred by unimaginable loss. Despite their 18-year age gap, a difference that caused Keaton to joke awkwardly that kissing Reeves felt like kissing my own son, the chemistry they shared on screen, playing the sharp-witted playwright Erica Berry and the adoring young Dr. Julian Mercer, was volatile and undeniably real. The film became a massive success, but the whispers of an off-screen romance spread like wildfire, dubbing them the odd couple, or, more accurately, the impossible couple. Diane, bold as ever, fanned the flames publicly, humorously declaring on The Oprah Winfrey Show in 2006, "I'm going to marry Keanu Reeves. He likes older women," a statement that hid a deep, genuine desire for the commitment she had always been denied. Diane's scars. The plea not to be shattered. As Keanu later revealed, their relationship intensified after filming, filled with long nights driving down the Pacific Coast Highway, sharing secrets and unfulfilled dreams. Diane, who had endured a lifetime of painful partings from legendary lovers, laid her heart bare before Keanu, showing him the deep scars left by her past. She recounted her painful history with Woody Allen, who chose art and freedom over commitment, Warren Beatty, who was, like the wind, beautiful but impossible to keep. The most profound agony came from her relationship with Al Pacino. Diane told Keanu how she loved him instantly after meeting him on the set of The Godfather in 1971, only for him to spend 15 years unable to commit. "I gave him an ultimatum in 1987. He chose to end it and my heart shattered into pieces," she confided, her voice trembling. Turning to Keanu, she made a heartbreaking plea, a cry for protection rooted in decades of pain. "Keanu, my heart has been broken too many times. If you come into my life, please don't hurt me again. Shin dung de m bai tan vo lan nua. Shin dung bo roy m. Please don't let me be broken again. Please don't leave me." She saw in him a gentle heart, covered in scars, making her vulnerability even more acute. Keanu's prison. The ghosts of 1999 and 2001. Keanu felt the overwhelming weight of her words, yet he carried within him emotional walls far too high to climb. He wanted desperately to promise her protection, but the ghosts of his own past loss haunted him relentlessly, making him imprisoned by fear. Before the world knew him as a symbol of solitude, Keanu had planned for a simple, happy family with his partner, Jennifer Syme. In 1999, they excitedly prepared a room for their first child, Ava Archer Sim Reeves, but fate delivered a monstrous blow on Christmas Eve 1999. When Jennifer went into premature labor and baby Ava was born stillborn. There was no cry, only a cold silence in the delivery room, leaving an unhealable crack in Keanu's soul. The couple separated, unable to overcome the shock of their child's death. But the final, crushing tragedy arrived in April 2001, when Jennifer, only 28, died instantly in a car crash. Keanu, who had been planning to reconnect with her the next morning, received the news in silent horror. He appeared at her funeral days later, personally carrying the coffin of the woman he loved, laying her to rest beside their lost child. "I miss being a part of their lives and them being part of mine," he confessed years later, speaking not as a movie star, but as a man who had lost everything he ever loved, 2 tragedies within 2 years. This unendurable pain left him numb for months, riding his motorcycle for hours merely to escape the emptiness. This history defined him, transforming him into a solitary wanderer whose calm exterior hid the shadows of the past. The rejected vows and eternal regret. Keanu's fear made him incapable of accepting Diane's love fully. In a moment of sheer desperation and hope, Diane tried to force a happy ending. One cold winter night in 2004, at a small restaurant in Santa Monica, she knelt down before a stunned Keanu and proposed, "Keanu, marry me. We can live a crazy life. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be us." Keanu felt his heart stop, wanting desperately to say yes, but the haunting memory of Jennifer and the agonizing ache of losing Ava flooded back. He shook his head, tears forming, whispering the devastating truth. "Diane, I'm not strong enough. You deserve someone who isn't imprisoned by the past." He also confessed later that the age difference felt like an invisible wall that prevented him from giving her the stability she deserved. They quietly parted ways in early 2005 over a cup of cold coffee. Maintaining a fractured friendship, Diane continued her life, adopting children but never marrying. Keanu retreated further into his solitude, immersing himself in work and quiet charity, forever marked by grief. Today, Keanu is often seen as a portrait of a man shaped by enduring loss, whose silence speaks louder than fame. When Diane passed away in 2025, Keanu sat alone in his hotel room, staring at the city, remembering the letters he still keeps in a small wooden box. His final words on the matter cemented the tragedy of their unfulfilled potential. "I regret not being brave enough to walk that path with her." Their story remains one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking in Hollywood, proof that sometimes love can be deep enough to believe in, even if it never finds a happy ending. The quiet rejection of Diane's desperate proposal in 2004 marked the point of no return for the couple. Keanu's heart, though filled with love, was paralyzed by the overwhelming terror of history repeating itself. He could not risk the devastation of losing a third person he deeply loved. He believed Diane deserved someone who isn't imprisoned by the past. The final parting was not a dramatic Hollywood blowout, but a slow, agonizing cessation of hope. They met one quiet morning in early 2005 at a small cafe in Venice Beach, settling their future over a cup of cold coffee. Diane, despite the heartbreak, displayed the gentle strength that Keanu admired. She hugged him tightly and whispered her final, profound words of love and counsel. "You'll always be someone special, Keanu. Don't forget that." But she added a crucial truth: "You must learn to forgive yourself." The solitude of 2 broken paths. After the separation, Diane Keaton, though a highly sought-after romantic lead, never found the marital bliss she sought. She continued her beautiful, free-spirited life, adopting 2 children, but remained unmarried, a silent testament to the depth of the love she had offered Keanu and the impossibility of finding a replacement. Keanu, retreating further into his world of quiet solitude, immersed himself in work, motorcycles, and extraordinary acts of quiet charity. The man who had been defined by 2 tragedies within 2 years, the stillbirth of his daughter, Ava Archer Sim Reeves, in 1999, followed by the death of his former lover, Jennifer Syme, in 2001, found peace only in detachment. He rarely spoke of relationships, becoming a symbol of enduring grief, a man whose sorrow was etched deeply into the eyes and soul. He confessed that his deep-seated fear was compounded by the age difference. The 18-year gap felt like an invisible wall, making him feel too young, too naive, to give the iconic Diane Keaton the stability and fully written future she deserved. He remained a wanderer, often seen sitting alone in parks or on subways, the calm exterior concealing the deep shadows of 1999 and 2001. His pain had transformed him, teaching him the profound lesson that grief changes shape but it never ends. The flickering flame and the final silence. Despite their quiet distance, the world never stopped hoping for them. Their paths crossed again publicly at the 2020 Oscars to present the award for Best Original Screenplay. Standing side by side, their natural ease and playful teasing reignited the flame of speculation, causing director Nancy Meyers to post on Instagram, "Who knows? Maybe they really were together." Fans immediately dug up old rumors, declaring their belief that this was the most beautiful forgotten love story in Hollywood. Yet, it took the finality of death for the complete truth to be spoken. On October 11, 2025, Diane Keaton, the woman who had captured his heart and implored him, "Please don't leave me," passed away at 79 from pneumonia. The news hit Keanu, who was in New York, like a punch to the chest. He spent days alone, staring at the bustling city below, remembering the laughter they shared on set and the handwritten letters from Diane that he still kept in a small wooden box. A week later, on October 18, Keanu Reeves made his devastating public confession. Before the cameras, his usual stoicism crumbled. His voice trembled with sincerity as he confirmed the truth buried for over 2 decades. Diane was a special person, a generous artist and more than a co-star. We loved each other truly. All those old rumors, they weren't just whispers in the wind. It was his final, mournful admission of guilt and regret, validating every whisper and piece of gossip that had followed them since 2003. He publicly whispered the words that Diane had heard privately years before. But this time they were saturated with the agony of being too late. "Diane, I'm sorry I left you alone and I will carry this pain forever." The story of Keanu Reeves and Diane Keaton, the impossible couple, was ultimately no Hollywood fantasy, but the sincere, deep, and deeply painful love story of 2 lost souls who found each other under the lights of a film set. Keanu concluded that Diane taught him that love doesn't need to be perfect, just sincere. He expressed his final, heartbreaking regret. "I regret not being brave enough to walk that path with her." He carries the hope that, somewhere out there she's smiling, still singing Beatles songs. Following the definitive parting with Diane Keaton in 2005, a decision rooted in his profound fear of recurring loss, Keanu Reeves retreated further into a life marked by intentional solitude, humility, and quiet acts of compassion. The star who had already endured the agonizing losses of his stillborn daughter, Ava Archer Sim Reeves, in 1999, and his partner, Jennifer Syme, in 2001, allowed his grief to shape, rather than shatter, his existence. The portrait of a man shaped by pain. Keanu Reeves' life became a testament to his own heartbreaking quote, "Grief changes shape but it never ends." His calm, thoughtful, and detached nature from the superficial noise of Hollywood stemmed directly from the immense sorrow he carried. He found himself unable to marry or start a family, remaining deeply private about his relationships. Though he never became a father in the traditional sense, he maintained close bonds with friends' children and often served as a quiet guardian, offering warmth to those around him. His acting career, however, saw a triumphant resurgence in the 2010s with the John Wick franchise, where he transformed into a stoic yet emotionally profound retired assassin. This role, which begins with the death of the dog, a final gift from his late wife, eerily mirrored the themes of unendurable loss that defined Keanu's own life. The success of the saga not only revived his career but also earned him the title of Hollywood's immortal star. Wealth, humility, and the invisible wall. Despite his immense professional success, Keanu Reeves has established himself as one of Hollywood's wealthiest yet most humble actors. With a net worth estimated around $380 minus $400 million United States dollars as of 2025. His financial success, largely due to receiving over $120 million USD in back-end profit sharing from the Matrix franchise alone, is exceptionally rare. Yet, unlike his peers, Keanu consciously rejects displays of extravagance. He resides in a minimalist villa in the Hollywood Hills, purchased in 2003, and an apartment in New York. He is famous for his simple lifestyle, often seen riding the subway, eating alone, or even offering his seat to strangers. He once famously stated, "Money is the last thing I think about. I could live on what I've already made for centuries." This humility is paired with extraordinary generosity. He has quietly donated millions from his salary to special effects teams and stunt performers, whom he believes create the magic of movies. He has funded unnamed cancer hospitals and been spotted assisting the homeless, often without any media coverage. Fans affectionately call him the kindest soul in Hollywood, a title earned not by his movie roles but by his resilience and compassion forged through tragedy. A mature companionship. After years of profound solitude, Keanu found companionship with visual artist Alexandra Grant. They were longtime friends and professional collaborators before their public appearance together in 2019. Their relationship is described as calm and mature, built on mutual respect, although rumors circulated that they had secretly married. Both have denied it, expressing contentment without a legal label. Alexandra has remarked, "He has a kind and beautiful heart. That's what makes me believe in love." The finality of regret. Keanu's confession, delivered a week after Diane Keaton's death in October 2025, served as the mournful culmination of this lifetime of emotional repression. His admission that he and Diane loved each other truly, and that the rumors were not just whispers in the wind, validated the deep, unspoken connection they shared. His parting words about Diane emphasized his enduring regret. "I regret not being brave enough to walk that path with her," concluding that he hopes, somewhere out there she's smiling, still singing Beatles songs. This closing sentiment encapsulates the heartbreaking paradox of Keanu Reeves' life, a man defined by love and loss, whose greatest regret was not the tragedies inflicted upon him, but the love he was too afraid to accept, convinced he was imprisoned by the past, and that Diane deserved someone who could offer a future not fully written. To fully understand the man who stood paralyzed by fear, the man who could not accept Diane Keaton's heart despite loving her, one must look back at the unstable foundations of his early life. The profound stoicism Keanu Reeves exhibits, and the quiet dignity that captured Diane's attention, were not inherent qualities of a movie star, but traits forged through a challenging childhood and early struggles, turbulent beginnings and creative escape. Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2, 1964, in Beirut, Lebanon, into a multicultural family. His background was diverse. His mother, Patricia Taylor, was an English costume designer, and his father, Samuel Nolan Reeves Jr., was a Hawaiian man with Chinese and Portuguese ancestry. Keanu's childhood was far from peaceful. His father left the family when Keanu was only 3 years old, forcing his mother to move frequently, relocating from Australia to New York before finally settling in Toronto, Canada. Amidst this constant turbulence, Keanu faced further academic challenges. He suffered from dyslexia, which complicated his schooling. He attended 4 different high schools and ultimately dropped out before graduating. However, it was amid this instability that Keanu discovered his profound love for theater and film, places where he felt he truly belonged. The ascent to immortality. Keanu Reeves embarked on his acting journey with small roles on Canadian television in the early 1980s. His move to Los Angeles and subsequent pursuit of bigger opportunities was a long and challenging endeavor. His breakthrough arrived in 1989 with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a comedy that cemented his name among young audiences and established him as a rising star through his charming, goofy style and natural innocence. The early 1990s saw Keanu successfully break the comedic mold. He delivered a striking dramatic performance in My Own Private Idaho, 1991, co-starring his late best friend, River Phoenix. This was quickly followed by his transition into the action genre with Point Break and, most significantly, Speed, 1994, which brought him international fame as Officer Jack Traven, cementing his image as a global action hero. The pinnacle of this initial phase of his career was undoubtedly The Matrix, 1999. His role as Neo, the Chosen One, in this groundbreaking cyber world not only revolutionized action cinema with its bullet time effects, but made Keanu a global cultural icon, solidifying his status as a defining figure of sci-fi action. It was shortly after the height of The Matrix's success, and just after enduring the tragedies of losing his daughter and partner, that he met Diane Keaton on the set of Something's Got to Give in 2002. The man beyond the roles. Beyond the fame and cinematic success, Keanu Reeves remains a man of many talents and unusual character traits. He played bass in the rock band Dogstar in the 1990s and has recently reunited with the band. He has also directed films, such as Man of Tai Chi, 2013, and produced several independent projects. In his early 60s, Keanu still maintains an impressive physical condition, though he once revealed that he fractured his kneecap during filming, describing the injury as shattering like a potato chip. A defining characteristic of Keanu's persona is his brave silence. In 2022, he faced controversy when he was blacklisted in China after attending a charity concert organized by a Tibet-supporting foundation. Several of his films, including The Matrix and Speed, were consequently removed from major Chinese streaming platforms. In response to this commercial retaliation, Keanu did not respond or defend himself. He chose silence, a reaction that reflects his lifelong principle: never submissive, never confrontational. This quiet resilience, seen in his personal and professional life, underscores the kind, sincere, and enduring nature that Diane Keaton loved, even if the man carrying such heavy emotional wounds was unable to promise her a future without fear.